What's up, game players? How are you guys doing? I'd like to welcome you guys to the Analog Circle Podcast, episode number 42. I'm your host, Keon Mitchell, and let me tell you guys, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode. Now, if you want to get in contact with the show, feel free to call in at 443-261-4607 to voice your opinion. Or if you don't want to go that route and you just want to send a letter, send an email, then guess what, brother? We got you covered. You can actually send your email to the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. Now, if you also might feel so inclined, brother or sister out there, you can find some previously recorded podcasts over on Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Audio Mac. Feel free to go over there and listen, and if you want, subscribe. Also, guide dog, speaking of subscribing, I forgot the podcast, the audio version is over on YouTube. Just type in Keon Mitchell, KIAUNMITCHELL, and listen to the show over there as well. I didn't set up the account that great. That's why it's under my name. I messed up, people, but hopefully I can rectify that problem one day soon. Basically, man, let's just jump on in. Splash! Here we go. Now, this week, man, it was actually a very interesting week for me because here in Maryland, in Baltimore, if you guys are familiar, we have this thing called free fall that usually happens around in October. I didn't get a chance to get out as much as I wanted to because a lot of the stuff also I had already done. It was maybe 2 or 3 things I didn't do last year that I wanted to do this year, but didn't get around to doing all of them. But one thing that I in particular, that was bad grammar. Sorry for that. But I actually went to the Maryland Jewish Museum, and it was very, very interesting. I had a great time. I love learning about people's culture, people's history, and yeah, I've been to the Holocaust Museum out in DC. Oh man, very amazing place to go. If you want to really learn more of the history about the Holocaust, it really brings it to life. I haven't been to DC and seen that for quite a number of years, so I'm sure that they've updated it, added some things. But this one in particular, it was a nice little tour around different parts of Baltimore where, Jewish people had actually set up shop and would sell different goods, groceries, the neighborhoods that they were from. And, they took us on a tour of a synagogue. So, I got to wear a yarmulke, which was interesting. We actually went into the synagogue and they were like, well, you got to put on the yarmulke for, traditional reasons. I was like, oh man, I never thought I would get a chance to wear one. So it was just great. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Highly recommend that if any of you guys are in the Baltimore area, that you guys go ahead down and check it out. I believe it's $10 for adults, and kids, if I can remember right, I might be wrong on this, I think it was $6, but that's what I did as far as going out. But as far as gaming went, I actually I didn't finish Gears, but I finished playing some more of Gears 4, and golly, let me tell y'all, man, good grief. The game is actually really, really good. Now, I'm gonna say this, okay? Rod Ferguson, he didn't try to change the wheel. I said that last week, they didn't try to do anything crazy, anything out of the box, but what I think they got right, oh man, what they got so right, as far as the storytelling, is the introduction of different enemy types. I was really, really impressed on how they went about that storytelling of how these new enemies came to be. It was really good. The game, oh my goodness, I haven't finished it fully. I think I got about another 2, maybe 3 hours left to play the game. But if I have to speak on it right now and give it a score, and this time I can stick by my score because I didn't go out the window like the first time with Mafia 3, I would say, man, this game is a 9 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10 because if you are a Gears fan, I don't see why or how you would be upset with this Gears. And if you were looking for them to try to break a little bit of the formula that's already there, then you might not be as impressed. But if you just want Gears for Gears and the gameplay that Gears gives us, then I think you would highly enjoy this game. But outside of that, that's all I've been playing. I wanted to get Titanfall 2, but brother, bills got to get paid first, brother. So I'm probably going to pick up Titanfall 2 this week and, give my first impressions on next week's show. But anyway, I have rambled on enough about that, so y'all know what it's time to do. It is time to get into what you guys come here for, and that is for the gaming news. Yeah, brother, that went down. Starting out with Sony. Now, Sony has finally made it official by recruiting Nacon and Razer to build an Elite-esque controller for the PS4. Now, this is what you can expect. For the Razer controller, I hope I said that right, it will feature 2 extra bumpers, 2 extra detachable triggers, an integrated control panel on the front. It's going to have trigger stop switches and hair trigger modes, 2 custom profiles that you can switch between on the fly, and a 3.5 millimeter headset jack with dedicated mic controls and detachable analog stick rubber caps for added grip. Wow, that is a doggone mouthful. But we are not done, because I got to tell you what the Nacon Revolution is gonna offer if you want to go with that brand. Now listen to this, y'all. The Nacon Revolution will offer a 8-way directional pad. 8-way? What the? Wait a minute. I don't know if that's good. I don't know, because if I'm thinking about it, nah, we're going to move on. That might be okay. An 8-way directional pad, 46-degree amplitude dual analog sticks with enhanced firmware for accuracy and reach, 4 custom profiles, and 2 internal compartments with 6 additional weights to help balance weight and feel. Now, this is the thing. I mean, good grief, this sounds all awesome and good. But the only thing about this is that Sony did not give a specific date, but they did say they will be available for purchase by the holidays. And at this point, when I found this story, there was no price point given. This sounds very interesting. I know Sony guys have been asking for an Elite controller similar to what Xbox has got on their console, or Microsoft put on the Xbox. The PlayStation guys seem like they are willing to pay the money, so I think that this is a really good move for Sony to have recruited Nacon and Razer to go ahead and do their thing with these controllers. It looks like, to me, if I had to go off of what I'm seeing here, I would say the Razer seems like it has a few extra features that the doggone Nacon just does not have. I mean, I like the fact that it's going to still continue to give you that 3.5 millimeter head jack. You know, it's going to have a dedicated mic. It's going to have dedicated mic controls, which I don't know if that's something that the Elite controller has on the Xbox One. I don't know. I've never held one. I've only seen pictures, so I can't 100% confirm that, but they just may have one up on the Xbox One's Elite controller with some of these features. I love it. I can't wait till this comes out. Like they said, it should be available by the holidays. Hopefully it will come out because I'm sure they will go off the shelves like hot cakes. And hopefully the price is comparable or possibly cheaper than in an Elite controller, because an Elite controller is what, $150, somewhere around in that range. If they could come in at $130, $120, oh man, it would be amazing. But we're gonna go ahead and move on from that story. Now we're gonna stay with PlayStation a little while longer. Now, PlayStation Plus games for November have been revealed, and they are Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, which I actually heard kind of good things about, actually. And the second game I don't know anything about, but it's called The Deadly Tower of Monsters. Ooh, wee. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys know about what this game is about, but let me know because I am in the dark. Moving on. Now, for anyone keeping up, now we're going to stay with Sony a little while longer, brother. Now, for anyone keeping up with the NPDs, we know Xbox One has been outselling the PS4 for 3 months in the USA. Okay, let's just clear that up. Not worldwide, brother, but USA. Well, listen to this, man. We know that we are now in the holiday season, and Sony will not be denied. So in order to switch the momentum, Sony has put together several, yes, incredible PlayStation 4 bundles that truly are, they are truly out of this world, bro. Now, the first bundle will include, good grief, they are going hard on this, man. Listen to this. The first bundle, they're going to include a 1 terabyte hard drive that will come with Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us Remastered. And if that wasn't enough, it's going to come with Drive Club. The second bundle is a 1 terabyte hard drive that will come with Uncharted 4, Drive Club, and Ratchet and Clank. Now, y'all know how I feel about Ratchet and Clank, one of the best games this year. If you gotta play a game on the PS4, please pick up Ratchet and Clank. I highly recommend it. But this comes in that bundle. The third bundle will include a 1 terabyte hard drive and come with Uncharted 4, Bloodborne, and No Man's Sky. I know No Man's Sky hasn't got a lot of love out there, them streets and them gaming streets, but hey, if you're interested, it is in a bundle. Now, this is the thing. Sony did not give a price point for these bundles at this time, but they did say that they will be available by November. So, next month is a big shopping month anyway, not just because it's the holidays, but also because it's Black Friday. Black Friday is in November, and people go out by the droves, or a lot of people just log in online and they do a lot of shopping to get a lot of great deals. These bundles right here, brother, these are some triple A games. They are not slacking or lagging on anything. Just the fact that they're giving you a 1 terabyte hard drive, which I can tell you guys from the hard drive I got, the Seagate. I can't recommend it enough. I know I said it the last couple shows, but thinking about it, a 1 terabyte hard drive, looking at how much mine has used already, I have about 16 games on there right now on that hard drive that aren't using up a full terabyte yet. It's cutting it close. It's down to like 0.2 right now. So I think, a terabyte, you should be able to get 15, maybe 16 games on there. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, I would be very interested in this if I didn't already have a big hard drive. Well, I don't for the PlayStation 4 now that I'm thinking about it. I don't. But this right here, depending on the price, even with the price, if they come in at $400 for a 1 terabyte hard drive coming with 3 AAA games. Uncharted 4, they're giving you Ratchet and Clank. They're giving you Bloodborne. They're giving you, not a AAA game and a little iffy on how people feel about it, but No Man's Sky, it just came out this year. It might not have met up to everybody's expectations, but it is a new game. It's a full priced game. On top of that, actually giving away The Last of Us Remastered, one of the greatest games of last generation. Come on! It's a no-brainer. If anybody out there has been thinking about getting a PS4, this is the moment right here. Now, once again, I can't give you a price or a date because none was given at the moment, but just know it'll be available in November, and I'm guessing for what they're giving you, they'll probably charge about $400, and I think that's more than fair. Moving on, now for you Gears of War 4 players out there like myself, Microsoft has revealed 2 new maps. Now, the first one is Dry Dock, which is a competitive map. Now, this map has built up a reputation for being played on Horde mode. Now, the second map is Checkout, which was one of the more popular maps in Gears 3, if you guys might remember. And it is a supermarket in Cole's hometown called Hanover 25. Now, if you're a Season Pass owner, you will gain access to these maps on November 1st. Now, if not, the maps will be available November 8th and will cost you a whopping price point of free $99. That's right. These 2 maps will mark the beginning of free map updates for the game, which is really, really cool. 2 maps. If you're a Season Pass owner, you get it 7 days early, which is only fair. But if you're not, you'll still be able to get them free on the 8th. So I think that this is a great motto. Companies are really, really doing this, trying to, give the players the opportunity to experience new maps and different map packs without having to pay the money. I believe that Halo 5 did the same thing. They gave away a boatload of different content for free. So this looks like this is the thing that's going throughout the industry, which is good. I think it gives game players more bang for their buck, and they don't feel like they're being robbed. I don't know why game players feel like they're being robbed. I gotta buy this. I gotta buy that. I gotta do it. It's DLC. I have to pick it up. You don't have to pick it up, brother. If it's not something you want, don't get it. It's just that simple. But moving on to the next story, let's get with Nintendo. Now, even though Nintendo will not be revealing much info about the Nintendo Switch until January 12th, that's right, that's the official date that they've given when they will be going into more detail about this Nintendo Switch next year. But even though that is the case, they're not giving a lot more information until that date. Some details have surfaced about the console. Now, one is the screen size. Now, the screen size of the device is 6.2 inches and will feature a 720p resolution, which to me is not bad. You think about it, the PlayStation Vita, I do not think that was 720p, but when you looked at the screen, it was a very clean screen. So this being 720p resolution, I don't think that's a problem. I think that'll be pretty doggone good, especially when you're playing a game on the go. On top of them revealing the resolution of the screen, okay, now I want to clarify this. Now, this is according to a source that spoke with Eurogamer, who actually got quite a few leaks ahead of time about the console. Now, it's also been reported that the screen is a touch screen, which can bring into question, will this be a feature only when you're on the go, or will the function work when the device is being played as a home console? So we're not 100% sure yet, but two things are for sure. It's a 720p resolution, and it will be a touch screen. So we'll have to wait till January 12th to figure out some more information about this. But hey, at least we got a little something to tide us over somewhat. Moving on. Now, we know last week we saw the release of Skyrim Remaster. And with this edition, for the first time in Skyrim franchise history on console, that is, it will come with mod support, both on Xbox One as well as PlayStation 4. But one mod in particular, unfortunately, will not appear on the PlayStation 4, but it will be on the Xbox One. Now, when asked about the Macho Man Dragon mod, oh yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage, ooh yeah, him, he said, if it's coming to consoles, the creator of the mod named Fancy Pants, oh man, he got on fancy pants, said that the mod will come to the Xbox One. As far as Sony goes, Fancy Pants said he is not impressed on how Sony has dealt with them on the platform. Now, these are his words, not mine. I want y'all to know I'm not putting words in this man's mouth. These are his words. So I'm going to start it over one more time. Now, as far as Sony goes, this is Fancy Pants. Fancy Pants said he is not impressed on how Sony has dealt with them on the platform. Now, because Sony requires all mods to be created with assets already in the game, because of this, Fancy Pants can't port any of his mods over to the PS4. He further, now this was kind of like, wow, I can't believe he said this, but he further went on to say that because of the platform's restrictions, he'd barely call it modding. And he further went on to say, I have no plans on to make any PlayStation 4 mods, and I don't know any modders who are planning on making anything either. I think a lot of players are going to be very disappointed. God darn, come on, Fancy Pants. Now see, this seems like a situation where Fancy Pants is a little disgruntled. I understand that, Sony, they want to keep the mods to actually being able to pull from existing assets in the game. Where modders, they want to go out and do their own thing. And I commend them. I commend Xbox, Microsoft, for letting them do their thing and just doing whatever they want. I'm sure some mods, they got to get pulled because not all of them can come to the platform because of copyright infringement and all of that stuff. So it will be limited, but it looks like Microsoft is at least giving them more freeway as opposed to, did I say freeway? Whatever the word is, y'all know what I mean. You give a person some yards, you give them a little bit of a pass, it seems like that's what Microsoft is doing right now. And it seems like Sony is still holding it close to their chest, but to me, now this is my observation, I could be reading into this way too much, brother. I could be. Somebody check me if I am. But it just seems like it's always been something there with Bethesda and Sony. Bethesda's never really been able to get their games 100% optimized on the PlayStation platform. I don't know what that is. I've said it before, and maybe this is just not necessarily bad blood. It can't be that. I doubt that, because this is just about modders. This is really about them and, actually being able to bring some different things to the game as far as mods go. But it seems like Sony just does not want to get up off of it. Some people are saying, well, Sony's trying to protect their player base. I keep hearing that. And I talked about this before, but I keep hearing them saying they're protecting their player base. My thing is, look, brother, you're a grown man, okay? If you want to go out there and you want to put your system, quote unquote, on the line for some mods, then I say, hey man, look, take your hand off my hand. Let me walk across the street by myself. I'm a grown man. I think Sony needs to go ahead and just let that be. If players want to take a chance, go ahead and download some mods, then why not? Why put people in a box when they don't have to be in the box? Sony, you are in the lead. You are the number one guy right now. You are the Drake of doggone gaming right now. You are the daggone Drake right now. You are number one, way in the lead of everybody else. Nobody is touching you. Microsoft might have beat you 3 months in a row, but is that really hurting you? Heck no. So I think that you being the leader, you should be able to say, look, man, let people decide. People want to go ahead and do their thing on the platform, download this stuff, let them go ahead and do what they do. And that should be the end of it. Now, will this affect sales as far as Skyrim on the PlayStation 4 versus the Xbox One sales? I guess only time will tell, but that'll be interesting. Whether or not people decide to buy it on the Xbox One because of the mods, or people decide to buy it on the PlayStation 4 because that's where they'd rather game and say, forget the mods. This will be a good testament on how important mods will be on the console space. So this will be a nice leveling bar to see where people gravitate. Moving on into some more PlayStation news, man. Goodness, there was on one this week. Now, PlayStation Experience is coming up in December, and I'm really excited about this, bro. It's coming up in December, and usually at this event, Sony shows off their big titles. Now, one of those titles that is anticipated, at least highly anticipated by me, my man, is God of War. When I saw that, and I saw him with his son, and he had to stab the daggone, I don't know what it was, if it was a deer. It looked like a mixture between a deer, a horse, and a goat. I don't know what it was, but when he had to stab him and he didn't want to do it, and Kratos had to take his hand and say, you gotta do it, it just got me pumped up. I was ready for this. But this is the thing. I mean, I was so excited. I was really, really sure this was going to happen at the PlayStation Experience. But according to the game director, Mr. Cory Barlog, I think his name, wait, let me redo that. His name is Barlog. I almost said like Balrog from Street Fighter. But Barlog, he announced via Twitter, oh man, that God of War won't be shown at the event. However, he will be at the event, but just to hang out. He went on to say that the wait will be worth it. I promise we will be showing something really awesome when it is ready. God dog it, man. Corey. I was really, that was one of the games, man, that I was really looking forward to seeing a more in-depth look at. Now I understand that God of War is probably in the early to mid, it has to be in the mid stages, at least I'm hoping, but nobody knows for sure. But I was really hoping to get more information about this game. So if any of you guys, any of you listeners out there that were looking forward to the PlayStation experience just to get some more God of War news. Unfortunately, it is on the back burner. So we'll have to wait for the future to be able to see something from this game. But according to Corey, once again, he says, I promise we will be showing something really awesome when it is ready. So we'll see what happens, what transpires with God of War, probably sometime next year. Moving on, actually not even moving on quite, keeping with the PlayStation experience. Now, this is one upside. There's a little bit of a downside, but here's the upside. Now, there is a possibility that Uncharted 4's story DLC could make an appearance at PlayStation Experience this year. Now, this is according to Let's Play Video Games. This is what they're saying. Now, also, to not even just go off of what they're saying, Troy Baker actually spoke at a MCM Comic-Con in London over the weekend and would not confirm or deny these claims, but did say that a formal announcement will be made very soon and that it will be by far the biggest story DLC Naughty Dog has done. So right there, it got me to thinking, well, this could be nice. This could be really, really cool. Because the thing that came in my mind is the backstory. Now, we all understand one of the not so much a complaint, but a eyebrow raising moment in Uncharted was, okay, now we are 3 games deep. 4 if you count the PlayStation Vita version, into the Uncharted series. How in the world did we not hear about Sam in all of these games if Drake had a brother? All of a sudden, Uncharted 4 comes out and bam, oh snap, he has a brother named Sam. So what I started thinking is, of course, Naughty Dog has heard this. They've already understood that some people have not so much a complaint, like I said, but just an eyebrow raising moment. I'm thinking that maybe with this story DLC, maybe they go into a little more detail about Sam and Drake's relationship growing up. Of course, they hinted at it in the game in the beginning in different sections of the game, but they never went into a full-fledged backstory of what was happening in between time. Now, I understand in the game, they were saying that Sam was locked up, but it was something in there that made it like, well, how could he have been locked up at this point in, Nathan Drake's life? So I don't know, but maybe that could be one of the backstory DLCs that they make for the game. I don't know. Maybe you have your own theory. Maybe you can tell me something, or it just came to my mind just right now. Maybe they might explore, I don't want to ruin it. I'm not going to ruin it. Trust me, no spoilers. You guys know I don't do that because I don't like when people do it to me. But let's just say for you listeners out there who have already beat the game and you know what happens at the end of the game, maybe they expound on that character a little bit more. But either way, we will see what happens. Hopefully this will happen at the PlayStation experience because it would be an awesome moment. Moving on now, shifting back to Nintendo. It looks like the Nintendo, now this was interesting because this really threw me off. I thought something else, but Nintendo cleared me up. And now shifting to them again. Nintendo Switch. Now this is being said. It looks like the Nintendo Switch will not be taking the place of the 3DS. Now, according to Nintendo President Tatsumi, oh brother, let me see if I can get this together. Kimishima, I think I got that right. Tatsumi Kimishima. God darn, I ain't never gonna get these names right. He told Bloomberg that the hardware sales are improving. And even though when the Switch comes out, now let me tell you guys, he was saying that the 3DS hardware sales are improving. And even though when the Switch comes out, it could slow down 3DS sales, but it won't kill the 3DS. He further went on to say, rather than excuse me, guys. Excuse me. He said, rather than being cannibalized by the Switch, he thinks the 3DS can continue in its own form. Now, the 3DS is up. Now, this is the thing. The 3DS is actually up from this time last year for the quarter, selling 2.7 million 3DS units. So, he's right. If you're selling 2.7 million units of something in a quarter, then yeah, it is a whole lot of steam and a lot of life left in the handheld. But this is the thing I'm trying to figure out now. I mean, of course, according to, Mr. Tetsumi, he's saying that, yeah, the hardware sales, when the Switch does come out, the hardware could slow down, but he doesn't think it'll be to the point where it actually will take the 3DS out, where the demand for the Nintendo Switch will be so high that the 3DS will be phased out because people won't be buying it. And he also doesn't think it's going to cannibalize sales of the 3DS. He thinks that the 3DS can continue in its own lane throughout the course of the Switch's life cycle. I don't know about that, because you gotta understand, it's one thing to predict that something will happen. I have predicted things on this podcast and I have been totally wrong. So it's one thing to predict something to happen, but when something actually comes on the market and things actually start shifting, momentum starts shifting, or the demand for one thing goes down in favor of another, you just can't say for sure how the cards are gonna fall, or how the chips are gonna fall. I don't know. But we'll have to see how this goes. Me, myself, it's gonna come down to price. That is going to be the main stake in this situation. If the Switch comes in at like $400 or $300, and you got a 3DS, I don't know how much the 3DS is going for now, but what, something like 170 or 180? It's the cheaper option. So like I said, price is everything. Price is key. Price and value will sell your stuff, or it will have it sitting on the shelf. So if they can get the price point right for the Switch and it can appeal to a broad audience, I think, me personally, this is my prediction, I think that if the Switch gets a lot of traction, a lot of momentum out of the gate, that people will decide, hey, wait a minute, why do I need the 3DS when I can go out and get this Switch that is more powerful, and when I get home, I can dock it and play it on my TV at home and don't have to be totally restricted to this screen. This is it. No, I think it's a much broader appeal. I think this could bring in guys like myself who don't game on handhelds. It could bring me into the fold as well as many other people. So we'll have to see how this goes. I think that, once again, if this thing takes off, the 3DS is in trouble because it's going to be older tech. By that time, it's already starting to get up in age a little bit. It's still doing very, very well. It's very successful for Nintendo, but we'll have to see how everything goes once the Switch comes out. But for now, 3DS is safe. Moving on. Man, I rambled on too much on that one. But Best Buy. Oh, man. Best Buy is at it again. Starting on November 4th. Oh, buddy, listen to this. If you buy an Xbox One, they will throw in a free game. Now, this deal will last until November 12th. Also, with the purchase of an Xbox One, a new Xbox One, you will get 3 months free of Xbox Live Gold, and you can get $20 off of Gears of War 4. Now, this is the thing. Let me clear my throat like Dougie. This is the thing, brother. Xbox has been very successful. They've been doing their thing. They've got 3 months in the bag, possibly 4, because of Gears of War 4 coming out this month. That could teeter-totter them over the top for 4 months straight. But they are at it again. And maybe this is the Best Buy thing. Best Buy has come up with some crazy daggone bundles with the Xbox One. But when I'm thinking about it, man, and I gotta compare. It's not fair not to. But if I'm going into a Best Buy, bro, and I'm looking at a PlayStation 4, I'm in the air. You know, I'm like, I don't know which one I should go with. And I go in there and I see this PlayStation 4 deal giving up 3 impressive, AAA games. With The Last of Us, Uncharted 4, and Ratchet and Clank. Good grief. Just those 3 right there being in any bundle is amazing. Now, my thing is this, brother. I go in, they got the 1 terabyte going on. They're giving me 3 games in this box for a possible, I don't know again, $400. And then I look over at the Xbox One and I see 500 gigabytes. I see them throwing in 1 game free and gonna give me $20 off of Gears 4. Maybe that's the reason why I'm buying it. For Gears 4. I don't know if I can say that's a better deal because it's not. So I don't know how well this is going to go over. I'm sure that some people are going to buy it. It's a good deal. What do you want? The Xbox One S is $300 now. They're giving you that. You get 3 months of Xbox Live Gold, and you get $20 off of Gears of War, which will bring it down to $40. It's a good deal. It's a really good deal. But if we have to compare, it just isn't quite as good as the PlayStation 4s. But we're going to move on from that. I'm not going to harp on that too much more. But Target, too. Now, listen to this. Okay, Target. Target also is having a sale as well. Now, from now until November 5th, when you buy 2 games, that's right, 2 games of your choice, you will be able to get the 3rd game for free. Now, this also, for any of you board game players, this also applies to board games as well. But you cannot mix and match the 2. You can't say, well, look, I'm going to get Uncharted 4 right now, and I'm going to get, Ratchet and Clank, and I think I'm going to get Monopoly. Nah, brother, you can't do that. You're not going to be able to. So if you're going to do it, make sure that you're buying all video games or you're buying all board games. And remember that the last one that's going to be free, it's going to be, the same value or less. So I don't think that you can get a $20 game, 2 $20 games, and expect to get a $60 game out of the daggone box. So that's not going to happen. So make sure that you get some games that have the regular price point on them. That way it's no discrepancy and you getting that 3rd game or board game for free. Moving on, guys. Last Wednesday, Microsoft had a show that introduced us to some new features that will be implemented into the Xbox One. I don't know if any of you guys caught this. I believe it was Wednesday or Thursday, or somewhere around in there. I think it was Wednesday. But they had a little show, and they were showing this thing called Beam, one of these features from a thing called Beam. It's like a streaming service, but the feature they showed off could actually strike a chord, particularly with streamers, where you can actually interact with your audience and have them choose certain things you can do in a game. But that didn't really do much for me. I mean, no shots at anybody who streams. I respect what you guys do and all of that, but it just wasn't for me. The more interesting thing to me, man, is the fact that Microsoft is throwing their hat into the VR space. Now listen to this, man. Oh man, these VR headsets will be built by, Lenovo, Dell, and Asus, and will start at $299. Let's let that just sink in, brother, just for a second, just for a minute. Okay, now these doggone VR headsets are gonna be $299. Now, the most impressive thing about this, outside of the price point, of course, is the tech that will be used. Now, the headsets are able to provide free range of motion. And there goes the phone. Free range of motion without an external camera tracking you. Now, Alex Kipman, who is the head of HoloLens and other VR projects, told Business Insider in an interview that the VR headsets will be the most impressive and powerful headsets at the most affordable price. Now, of course, he's gonna say that. That's PR talk. We know that. But in his defense, $300 to jump into VR. Oh, man, let me tell you, that was the only thing that made me not pull the trigger on PlayStation VR. I said, $500, God dog it. That is a lot of darn money, and I just don't have it like that. But if I could have got it for $300, heck, man, even $350, I would have went up as far as $350 to get it. It would have been a no-brainer. I would have had it on day one. But $400 and $500, just a little too much for me. And I would have had to get the $500 one because I don't have the camera and I don't have the Move controllers. So for them to be able to come in at a price point of $300 with the tech built in, the head tracking stuff device that's going to be built into the camera to give you free range of motion without an external camera, man, that is impressive. Now keep in mind, brother, I'm not a huge tech guy. I don't understand some of the lingo. It's just not something I'm fully versed in, as it were. But I gotta tell you, this seems like a very good deal. Now, how this will actually come into play with video games per se, Microsoft didn't really give a lot of info about the video game side of the VR headsets, but the only thing that they did say was they will be coming down the pipe, I believe. Now, this is me talking. This is not them. I believe they were saying next spring. I believe they're supposed to be coming out. I could be wrong, but I thought I read that. So don't 100% quote me on that, but I believe spring of next year is when these will be available. But at $300, wow, what a good deal, especially once again with them adding that tech inside, that tech where you don't need an external camera tracking you to keep everything on point. Moving on now for PC gamers. Oh, we're going to keep with VR a little bit here. For PC gamers who own an Oculus Rift or HTC Vive that want to try out Project Cars, Bandai Namco has actually, they're actually releasing Project Cars Pagani Edition, which will feature several Pagani Surface cars and 3 tracks to race them on for free. Now, the update is designed to give VR gamers something to play test. Now, if you are interested in getting this, I mean, of course it is free. I don't see why you wouldn't want to get something for free. If you plan on getting this, just make sure that you have at least 25 gigabytes of hard drive space free, because that's how big the game will be. That is the download size. Now, I've heard some things about this VR update. Some people have said that the cars feel like they're on ice, and you can't really get any traction, control over the car. Some people said that, the controls are just very loose. I don't know 100% because I never played it. So I'm just going off of what people said. But for the price of free, $99, I don't see how or why you wouldn't try it, especially if you're just trying to find some more software to actually be able to use your very expensive VR headsets, because the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive, oh gosh, that's big bank. Moving on to the next story. Now, of course, I'm going to stick with you PC guys. For PC players as well that are waiting to buy Super Hot at a discounted price. Well, for the moment, if you're interested, it's actually being sold at $14.99 through Amazon. Now, there's actually no word on how long this sale will last, so if you're interested in this, I would hop on this immediately. $14.99 for Super Hot over on Amazon. I heard it was a good game. It's actually on the Xbox One. That's about it. Actually, Aaron over at Game Enthuse, he actually reviewed it. Definitely check out his YouTube channel. It's over there at Game Enthuse. All one word. Just go over there, type it in. He has it over there. He thoroughly enjoyed it. So if this, once again, is something that you've been looking forward to, but just didn't want to pay full price, $14.99 over at Amazon. Jump on it. Now, moving on to the next one. Now, after just about, oh man, I can't believe this happened. Finally. After just about a decade in development, a name change, and many delays, Final Fantasy 15, y'all, has officially gone gold. Yes, it has gone gold. Now, the news was announced via Twitter, and if you guys didn't know, the game comes out November 29th. God dog, brother. This game has been in development for I don't know how the darn long. Darn near 10 years, I said it. Darn near 10 years, I got to laugh because I really messed that up. But 10 years almost in development. Now we know that usually the interesting thing about Final Fantasy 15 is usually a game that takes that long to come out. Once it's released, it is a darn mess. It is horrible. I mean, it is just, it never gets good receptions. A game that's been in development that long never gets a good reception. People are like, oh, this sucks. Gameplay is horrible. Story is bad. Graphics aren't there. The gameplay is very, very, loose or just doesn't have a good feel to it. The story is horrible. But the interesting thing, though, about Final Fantasy 15 is it was actually, golly, I can't remember the source. But one of the big websites, whether it was GameSpot, whether it was Giant Bomb, or one of those guys, IGN, they actually had played, I believe it was 15 or 20 hours of the game, and they actually said the game was really, really good. So, for the first time, maybe maybe Final Fantasy 15 just might be that game that breaks that mold, that a game that's been in development for so long can never come out and be an excellent game or be the game that we thought it was going to be from the jump. So you figure, Final Fantasy has went through Versus. It was going to be Versus at one time. Then it was going to be another game. Actually, I think it was just Versus. That was what it was going to be. Then it got switched over to what it is now. Sony has showed it off. God dog, like I say, many years ago. The last thing I remember Sony showing off, way before it had actually got established as to what it was going to truly be, was it was a waterfall or something like that. The guy was jumping through some kind of windows or something. I just knew it was water. Something was flooding or something at the time. And I was like, dang, man, I haven't been into Final Fantasy since 10, but I was like, God, dog, this just might make me want to pick this up. So now, the game is finally gone gold. It's no turning back. It's done. They're ready to take it to the printing, production, and all of that stuff. Print out the discs and the cases and the artwork, the box art, all of that stuff. It's no turning back. So November 29th, we will finally get our hands on this very highly anticipated game. Me, myself, I was very impressed with the Disgaea demo on the Xbox One, but I will be getting this one on the PlayStation 4. I think it's only right that I, go ahead and get it on the PS4, pay homage to where it started at, Final Fantasy 7 on the PlayStation, Final Fantasy 10 on the PS2. I think it's only right, brother. So I'm highly, highly anticipating this one. I'm going to tell you guys right now, just like I'm sure many other sites, I will not have a review for this game for quite some time. I will just have some first impressions, brother. And then it'll just be impressions, because I know this game is going to take forever. So once again, it's gone gold. You Final Fantasy fans out there, get ready. November 29th, it will be released. Moving on, though. Now, this is about Mass Effect Andromeda. Now, even though there has been no official release date for this game, Mass Effect Andromeda, according to Amazon. According to a listing from Amazon, the game has a release date of March 21st, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's real or not real. It might be a placeholder's date. We know that they do that. But as far as it goes, according to Amazon, Mass Effect Andromeda will be released March 21st. Now, even though this isn't official, we all know that November 7th, oh yes, I'm looking forward to it. It's called N7 Day. November 7th is coming up, and I'm sure that we'll get some more concrete information at that event, which is a Mass Effect event. N7, November 7th, I would keep my ear to the internet, keep my ear to, different podcasts or blogs or wherever you go for your gaming information. Definitely keep an eye out and an ear to the streets on November 7th, because I'm sure, once again, like I said, and I'm repeating myself and I apologize, but I'm sure we'll get some much, much more concrete information there. Moving on now, Titanfall 2 has released, and you guys know I really wanted to get this game on day one. I really, really wanted to get it because the reviews, Giant Bomb, what's his name? Gertzman? I can't remember his first name, but Gertzman, the guy who doesn't like anything. He doesn't like anything. As far as I'm concerned, it was games that I'm like, God dang, man, you don't like that? It was a good game. It was pretty darn good. He actually said about Titanfall 2, brother, he said he really, really enjoyed it. Said that it had tight gameplay. He actually said the story wasn't bad. He said the story wasn't bad. And he thoroughly enjoyed the game. I mean, he was really speaking high praises about the game. And for him to actually say how much he enjoyed the game, it really got me just a tad bit more excited, because I'm like, man, this guy doesn't like anything. His brother just doesn't want it. So for him to have actually talked very highly about it, on top of me already being excited about the game and wanting to experience it for myself, no matter what people said, it looked great. I love the fact that it had the campaign and all of that stuff. So very, very highly anticipated on my list. But the thing is, man, the thing about Titanfall 2 is it could even get just a tad bit better, depending on what kind of gamer you are. Because they actually announced that any maps or any game modes added to the game will be free. So for any of you guys that pick up Titanfall 2, you don't have to worry about, well, I got to get this map pack or that map pack or this or that. Matter of fact, God dog, why didn't I link these two together? I just talked about Gears. Gears 4, same thing, 2 maps for free. Now, of course, I'm sure with Gears, it's going to be something you're going to have to pay for eventually down the line. But with Titanfall 2, they're saying that any new maps or any game modes will be free. Now, people had asked them, I forgot who it was, some company asked them, why would they do this? How are you going to make money off of giving away this stuff for free? Well, actually, Respawn, they actually had said, well, hey, we feel as though if we are letting people know that we're giving them value for their purchase, that the game will sell more, because we're going to be giving them these things for free, which will increase, of course, their game sales and give them a bit of an edge over other competitors that are in that space. I'm figuring Call of Duty for that situation. So Titanfall 2 is also not a very established IP just yet. It came out the gate and stumbled a little bit. People did enjoy it. People thought it was a good game, but them not having that campaign mode, that's what kept me away from it, because I don't really play online, so by them actually doing this and, trying to add these things in for free, it just may work in their favor. So we'll see how it goes, but I'll definitely have my impressions up about Titanfall 2 on next week's show. Moving on. Now, this was a story that I was talking about last week. This is just a continuation, just an update for you guys. More than 250, oh man, I guess things didn't go too well. More than 250 picketers have gone in front of EA to strike. Now, of course, this is SAG, S-A-G, A-F-T-R-A. That actually stands for the Screen Actors Guild, the SAG part. Now last week, like I said, I had touched on this, but the voice actors and actresses have gone on strike over not receiving a fair contract. Now, because of this strike, more than 100 games being produced by 11 companies are being affected. I believe 2K was in this list, as well as, Take-Two, which is the parent company of 2K. Them and Activision, I believe, were being affected, along with a couple of other ones. I know Disney, voice acting or something like that was being affected by this as well. So this actually goes a little further than video games. It is some film in there, but we're gonna stick on the video game side of things. But Now, of course, the root of the problem stems from the gaming industry refusing to pay performers residuals. So basically, the union is demanding the industry offer secondary payments to actors and voiceover artists employed on the most successful games. Now, in order to be eligible for the residuals or a bonus, the game would have to sell more than 2 million copies. So I can, and Cody actually wrote in about this, but and I'll get to his email in that section because I'm looking forward to it. But reading that part about it, 2 million copies, that's a lot of copies, and I would say that would be one of the very few cases. That would be a big game, but I don't know. I'll get to that in a minute. But the employers have refused. Now, this is the downside. Now, see, remember I was saying that, you don't want to really shake the tree too much. Things could go wrong. But as far as right now, the employers have refused to consider this option, excluding games from union talent if they are unable to afford the upfront bonus structure. Now, this is the thing, man. It is getting to the point where these big companies, of course, all big companies do some underhanded stuff. It's never right. The small guy always gets the short end of the stick. It's always that way, and it's not the right way to be. But by them doing this is actually hurting them. The voice actors, I know they want this extra money. I know they want the residuals. They want the bonus. If the game does do well, 2 million copies, but the thing is, oh man, they've been working on this contract for 2 years and it's been in limbo. Nobody's actually been able to come to a full agreement. One of the companies that were representing these companies, the gaming companies, the publishers, they were saying that they came to just about the agreement that they wanted them to come to, but the wording was not quite how they wanted it to be. So they refused it, and they're on strike right now, and they're refusing to consider any of these guys that are in the union, union talent, if they're unable to afford the upfront bonus structure. So we'll see how it goes, man. I hate the fact that these guys are out of work right now. They're picketing, they're trying to get their point across. They want the residuals, but the sad, and I do mean this, the sad fact of the matter is, and it's horrible and it's cold, it is, but the fact of the matter is if they don't play ball, they will get somebody else. It's a sad truth. I mean, voice actors, even though they do an incredible, amazing job, they sell the story, they sell the game. Because people will be like, oh, such and such is in this game. Nolan North, oh, shucks, he's here. Troy Baker, oh, wow, he's here. Even though they can help sell a game and be the face of a product, like Cody's, I'm getting into his email, let me stop. But, the fact is that they are, unfortunately, replaceable. So even right now, they're not even going to consider getting anybody from the union if they can't afford the bonus structure. So it's hurting these guys. It's hurting their livelihood right now. I just hope that eventually they'll be able to come to an agreement where everybody is happy, everybody can walk away just fine, and everybody can get back to work. So I'll definitely keep you guys updated with this story, but we'll see what happens. Moving on into the last story of the week. Now, Final Fantasy, we're going to circle back around. Final Fantasy 15 will be getting a season pass that will cost $24.99 and will feature 3 original episodes that will focus on Noctis and his friends, which will allow you to view. Now, of course, with this DLC, this is going to allow you to view new areas with new monsters and weapons. Now, in addition to that, the season pass will have an expansion called Final Fantasy 15 Comrades that will introduce a co-op mode that four players can participate in. So now you and 3 of your friends, that's right, 3 of your friends can control Noctis, Gladio, Prompto, and Ignis. I hope I said their names right. I think I did, maybe I didn't. But the fact of the matter remains that they are going co-op for Final Fantasy 15 with this DLC. How cool is that? Man, I can't believe it. It really seems like Final Fantasy is really shaping up to be the game that we want it to be. Co-op mode in a Final Fantasy game. I know that they have Final Fantasy Online. I understand that you could consider that co-op, but I don't remember a game in the main Final Fantasy storyline arc where you were actually able to play co-op. I don't remember. I could be off. No, I don't remember that. I don't remember. But for the first time, you and 3 of your buddies can jump in, have a good time, and play. So that is going to do it for the gaming news this week. But hey, listen, stay tuned though, because we're going to get into my favorite section. I don't want to call it the feedback section anymore. I don't want to do that. I want to call it the What's on Your Mind section. So we're going to go ahead and name that What's on Your Mind, because, I want to know what you guys are thinking. You don't have to answer the question that I ask you guys every week. I want to know what you think. So what's on your mind? We're going to get into that section right after this. Stay tuned, guys. And welcome back to the podcast, guys. Welcome back, y'all. Now, we are in the new but same part of the show with a new name. It's entitled the What's on Your Mind section of the podcast. So I want to get things started with Mr. Mastino Davis. He actually wrote this 2 weeks ago. And I apologize, Mastino. I did not catch it until now. He actually wrote this in the Analog Circle group, Facebook group. So he writes in and he says, thanks for the shout out. Appreciate it. Now, I appreciate you, Mastino. He says, yes, we need split screen. In fact, I would like to see more games with the option, for the simple reason I don't have to buy a second copy of a game if I want to play it with a friend. Halo 5 took it out, and that was a disservice to local play. People are getting big TVs now, and the consoles should support it. I remember back in the PlayStation 2 days, we could play 8 people using multi-tap to play football. Those were some fun games. Mastino, once again, I apologize to you, brother, for not reading this sooner. But thank you so much for writing in. I appreciate it. I think it's the first time you've officially wrote into the podcast, so please don't let it be the last time. Man, it's just great to hear from you. Me and Mastino, we actually tried to hook up and play Gears of War 4, the Horde mode, but unfortunately I had technical difficulties on my side and we weren't able to play the game, but hopefully we can hook up very soon and play each other and have a good time and hang out. But as far as Mastino, your answer, I would agree. You hint on something that is interesting, because the TVs are much bigger than what they were back in the day, back in the N64 days with GoldenEye and all of that jazz, where you had this small little box that you were looking at to try to play this mode in the game, this couch co-op mode or the what do you call it? The versus mode. It was so small, and I'd be like, man, this is just not fun. But TVs being much bigger now, 42, 60 inches, 80 inches, 32s. I mean, you got all kind of sizes that are much bigger than the 19-inch TV that I was playing on back in the day. So they could definitely make it a lot more tolerable and more fun to have your buddies over the house. You guys are tripping, having a good time, linked up with the co-op play and all, and just enjoying each other's company. So on that perspective, I definitely agree, Mastino. And hopefully, like you said, more developers will take this more seriously and, implement it into more games instead of just having it be an online only experience to experience with your friends. So Mastino, once again, thank you for actually writing into the podcast. We're gonna move on to the next email that has actually been sent by Michael Jankowski. He says, "Good morning, Keon. Good morning to you." He says, as for your question, I think, he was talking about split screen as well. He says, "I think split screen gaming and local co-op should stay. It's a great option to have, especially if you have friends visiting, roommates, or significant others and want to play games together." He continues to say, "While having the full screen to yourself is nice, it may not be practical for some to have multiple consoles and televisions set up just to play a game together in the same location. Split screen is a nice compromise, and it's a feature I'm glad to have, even if I won't use it all the time. Anyway, keep up the good work, Michael." Michael, thank you, brother, for actually chiming in on that. I appreciate you, always, tuning in and, writing into the podcast is greatly appreciated, man. I'm very happy to hear, the feedback from you guys. It's just greatly appreciated. And it looks like, man, between, Michael and Cody, Michael and Mastino, it looks like you guys are really for the split screen, as well as Cody as well. But I appreciate that. I guess, hey, maybe I'm in the minority on this one, so I give that to you guys, and hopefully, just like how Mastino had hinted at it, hopefully these companies, they will definitely bring this into play and, do better at it, so we'll see what happens. But also, let's see, I'm going through them right now. Hold on, you guys. Let's see. Oh, Michael sent in another one. That's right. He says, "Good morning, Keon." Good morning. He says, "To answer your question from the show, I think the Nintendo Switch will be fitting for hardcore gamers, though maybe not as their only or primary system. Being able to play the same game on a big screen or on the go is a dream that many companies have tried, but few have succeeded at. Having this system designed with this in mind from the start, right out of the box, will help it achieve this goal. Many gamers dismiss Nintendo games for kids, but I challenge any of them to tell me they've had no joy playing a Mario, Zelda, or Metroid game. I'm personally looking forward to the Switch and can't wait to play it. Graphic fidelity can take a back seat as long as the gameplay shines. Anyway, keep up the great work, Michael." Michael, you gave me a double header, brother. You gave me a double header. I appreciate that. Thank you for the email. It's greatly appreciated. I was wondering about this, Michael. Of course, the last week's question was, can the Switch, the Nintendo Switch, actually bring in the hardcore gamers? Because a lot of hardcore gamers feel like, well, I can only speak for myself. I feel like Nintendo kind of abandoned people like me for the more casual audience at the time of the Wii and even the Wii U to a certain point. But I was wondering if this would be enough. And for Michael, it looks like he's on board. He's ready. He's playing Nintendo games not for the graphical fidelity, but for the fun factor. And that is the most important thing. He's right about that. Me, I do like graphics. I can't lie. I guess I am a graphics WHO, and you know the rest. There's no need to get graphic, folks. But gameplay is the most important thing about a game. If a game is not fun, you don't want to play it. And even if the story is good, but the gameplay is no fun, you still don't want to play it. So I can understand what Michael is talking about. He's saying he's on board. Me, myself, I'm on board. I want to give it a shot. I'm not really into the handhelds like that, but just the fact that I have the option where a game might be so good, I might be enjoying it so much that I have to take it on the road with me. I can't wait to get back and play the game. I have to play it out as I go. I can't wait 2 days to get back from off of the road and I can take it. That is a heck of an option to have. So for that, Nintendo definitely needs a round of applause, man. I applaud them for this effort, and I'm really looking forward to January 12th to hear more information about this console. So Michael, I truly appreciate you writing in to the podcast. Now, last but absolutely not least at all, because we know that this man right here has single-handedly took this section of the show and put it on his back, because it was many weeks where others just weren't writing in, and maybe it was because it wasn't a topic that really interested them, and that's totally understandable, where you just don't have an opinion and you're like, I'll move on. But Mr. Cody Clark has wrote in, and I wanted to save his for last because this circles back to the voice actors and the strike that they have going on. So here we go with Mr. Cody Clark. The name of his email is "And Having a Voice." He says, it's interesting to hear your take on the voice actors. I find myself supporting them. They have a guild for a reason, and they want to be treated more like actors. Like you hear specific voices and associate them with a person/character. Bender, Fry, Bart Simpson, etc. Some games change voices for the same characters, and it can really hamper a performance. So like if they get a really key performance out of somebody for the next Grand Theft Auto and the game does well, it would make sense to reward anybody who is involved. Game development studios do not want engineers/developers, producers to have their own union, to have their own union as well. Unions cut into the profitability for making games, and publishers hate unions because they protect their members. When you mention all the 80+ hours devs put into a game, that happens in crunch time in a super negative part of the industry. Why does the phone keep ringing? Good grief. In the industry, EA and other publishers have been sued over their treatment of salary employees expecting these inhumane hours. That happens with bad leadership and time management. Then, when things go south, they lay off the lower end people and promote the upper management. I can't count the number of jerk devs who threw somebody else under a bus to get promotion to something like associate producer or producer to throw an entire team under the bus to get another promotion and then get assigned to another team or studio and start the cycle over again. 15 to 20 years ago, there were huge limits on audio and visual effects. Now many game engineers have all the built-in content that lets you craft some pretty expressive stuff. Sound and voice are just an integral as good sorry about that. He says sound and voice are just as integral as good music, controls / gameplay, and all of that. Yes, the UI programmer does not get mad props, but you hire a voice actor to be the face / voice of your protagonist / antagonist. The union sets the rules. It's their right. Pay me. Movies and TV shows follow the same rules. If games want to use the same talent in the same way, they are going to have to get in line or wait for our robot overlords to start to voice games themselves. Cody! Woo! Man! You said a mouthful there, brother. I want to thank you, though, for always writing in. Cody, I appreciate you so much, man. I really do. I really appreciate your point of view. And on this one, Cody, I got to tell you, after doing a little more research about the voice actors and the mocap and all of that stuff, Cody, I have to say that and I can understand this because actors, they do get residuals. That is something they get. So like you said, Cody, these ladies and gentlemen want to be treated more like actors. I understand that they're out there, they're mocapping, they're putting their voice on the game. They are the face of the product. I forgot the young lady's name who actually has been involved in the Tomb Raider reboot. Her, by the way, she is very beautiful. But she was the face. They were interviewing her, which she did an incredible job at that character. So after hearing more of the ins and outs of it, like I was talking about, you guys, the 2 million would be the 2 million bar, as far as 2 million games being sold, would be the place where they would want to get a bonus or residuals for a game that's doing that well. We all know that is a kind of high bar. Only certain games do those numbers. So it's not like they would be asking for money from a game that only did 300,000 copies, 500,000, not even 1 million, but 2 million copies plus. Give them a bonus. At first, I was against it. I'm like, I don't understand. These developers, they're doing all of the legwork, all of the hard work. And that is in no way me trying to, belittle what these voice actors do. They are the ones that sell the story. That's their job. They do it. And my thing is this, Cody. They're asking for the bonuses. I get it. But the thing is, Cody, I want everybody to eat. Let me start out saying that first. I want everyone to eat. I want everyone to be compensated for what they're doing. Whatever job you're doing, you should be fully 100% compensated. Now, this is a two-way thing. Now, what I mean by that, well, I should say two sides. On the one side, I understand what Cody is saying. He's saying these guys, once again, they want to be treated like actors. So in that sense, that's why they've been negotiating this contract for 2 years now and haven't been able to come to an agreement. They want this, so they are trying to get this put in writing. That is basically what it is. They want these bonuses. They want to be compensated. But the other side to it, Cody, is, aren't they being compensated? I mean, they are getting the money for the performance up front. I mean, they are being paid for their services. That's where a bit of the split comes in. I understand you want the bonus, but at the same time, they're paying you already for your services. It's not like you're doing it for free. It's not like they're not, paying you for what you're doing. So in that sense, I can't 100% jump on to what they're doing. And then on the other side, like I was talking about before, the small guy always gets the short end of the stick. So basically, what's going to have to happen is, if they want this to happen, they want it to go through, they're going to have to get it in the contract, and that's what they're fighting for. Will they even get it in the contract, Cody? That's the bigger question. Because when I was talking about this earlier in the show, they already said if these guys are with the union and the bonus that they're asking for doesn't comply with their budget, they're not going to hire these guys. So then what? Then what, Cody? I mean, they'll be out of work. They'll be, suffering, trying to go through with this strike. But there are just so many other people, Cody, and you know this like I know this, that are vying for others' jobs, that are just hungry, they're starving, and they're willing to go in and do what they got to do just to get the money, just to get a foothold in the industry. So will this be resolved, Cody? Will it? Or are they, in a sense, and I don't mean, and this is not to belittle what they're doing, because if they feel like they're being they're not being treated fairly, then they should go on strike. But will this solve the problem, Cody? I guess only time will tell, brother. But Cody, man, thank you for writing in. I would love to continue to hear your thoughts on this. Matter of fact, I would love to hear you other listeners' thoughts on this. Do you think, and this isn't the question of the week, but, do you think possibly that, this will be resolved? Do you think that these big developers and publishers will go with other talent that isn't unionized, where they don't have to go through the headache of this situation? It's a headache to them. It's also a headache to the voice actors, because they want to work and they want to eat too. So I just want to get your opinion on that. But once again, Cody, my man, Cody Clark, thank you so much for writing in. I appreciate you so much, brother. Thank you. But with that being said, man, this show has gone on way too long. So we're getting ready to wrap it up, but I do have a question that I want to ask you guys. I gotta ask this, because this has been on my mind. Now I want to know, are we game players to blame for developers not taking more chances? Now, what I mean by that is, let me expound on this for a minute. I'm not going to hold you guys up much longer. But everybody says, we want innovation. Why doesn't Activision do something different? They do Call of Duty every year. Ubisoft does Assassin's Creed all the time. They took a little break now, but they were pumping them out every single year. What's going on? Madden is every year. 2K is every year. Let's just stop it. Why don't you take more risks? Make new IPs. Do something different. Step out of your comfort zone. Think out of the box. My thing is this, brother. We ask these developers to do this in the hopes of getting new IPs, new ideas, new frontiers to explore, right? The thing is, now I did a little bit of math here, okay? I did a little bit of math. Now, do you know that some of you guys probably will know this? You guys know I'm always late. But do you guys know that the average game for this generation has a budget And this is according to Guillemot, the CEO over at Yves Guillemot over at Ubisoft. He actually says that in his predictions that a game's cost, the average budget, is $60 million doggone dollars. That is how much a game costs to make an average game. Of course, I'm taking it. This is AAA. This is Ubisoft. They do AAA titles, okay? I mean, some of them, maybe not. Child of Light wasn't AAA, but, it was a game. But I'm taking it. Yves Guillemot is talking about AAA here. So $60 million, God darn it, to make a game. Now, The Witcher 3, let's put it in perspective a little bit. The Witcher 3 cost $81 million to make. 81 darn million to make this game. Now, do you think that these developers, these publishers are looking at these numbers? You know what? I want to do some math. Hold on. I'm going to do some math real quick. Okay. A game costs 81 million, right? Let's say at $60, right? Times, we're going to do $1 million. Okay. We're going to do $1 million. Let's see how much that comes up to. Okay, now this is something else. Now, in order for a game to break even, now this was simple math now that I think about it, god darn. For a game to break even, going with the numbers that Guillemot was talking about, Yves, you would have to sell 1 million copies of a game to break even. At a $60 million budget, you gotta sell 1 million darn copies to break even. Now, I know you guys are saying, well, Keys, games do it all the time. No, they don't. They don't. Last time I checked, Forza sold, it was just under 400,000. Now, I don't know where it's at now, but I'm sure that was a high-priced title. Might not have been 60 because it's just cars, but licensing and then commercials and all of that stuff, that's all in the budget. So it's not all just development costs, but it is advertising and licensing in certain games. So do you think that because it's been proven that they make new IPs and they don't sell well? Case in point, I'm going to just use Microsoft. They made Sunset Overdrive. It was a good game. Some people didn't like it. It wasn't their cup of tea. I understand. But to me, it was a good game. It was a new IP. The last I checked, man, that thing sold like 200, maybe 300,000. It wasn't even up there. You doggone got, it was another game. Quantum Break. Another new IP. That didn't do too hot either. So is it our fault? Once again, is it our fault? The game players. Are we to blame for developers not taking more chances? Let me know how you feel. You can reach the show if you want to participate in this at the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. Or to make it more easy, more simple, you can just call in and leave a voice message. The phone number is 443-261-4607. Oh man. With that being said, that is going to wrap up the podcast for this week. But don't worry, folks. Don't worry. Because next week, we are gonna do it again. But until then, you guys take care. Be safe out there. Bye-bye.